I had my own experience with things that were getting tighter. And then I started to see that my 70 plus people all were coming in with specific areas of their body that they commonly all had the same pain syndromes. Hi everybody, and welcome to Your Second 50, where I explore topics intended to optimize every body 50, 60, 70, and above. Hi everybody, and welcome back to the Judy Terrell Show. This is series number 9, and my topic for this series is how to reverse the joint and muscle discomfort and pain that manifests in a human body that's over 70, 80, 90 years old. That is the result of repetitive everyday life activities that we all do. But because we do it so repetitively, it causes imbalances and tightness and then results in pains in our body that we can back out of if there isn't a deeper pathology involved by doing some opening and some stretches to reverse the effects of these repetitive activities. I am addressing the 70 plus age men and women in this series not because younger people don't get the same repetitive motion tightness, but because the stretches I've chosen to show you and demonstrate are ones that are appropriate for 70, 80, 90 plus year olds. They're all done either sitting or in an upright position or standing. In the case of this one I'm going to demonstrate next, it's up against this wall or this door. And so no matter what age you are, 90% of people who are still, out in the world and ambulatory and moving around will be able to do the stretches that I'm demonstrating. All right. So it's for 70 plus population. All right. That said, I'm 60, and what happened is I started to see that as my client population were getting older, because I started to specialize in 50, 60, 70, 80, and now 90 year olds are coming in to see me, and living in my own body, I had my own experience with things that were getting tighter, and then I started to see that my 70 plus people all were coming in with specific areas of their body that they commonly all had the same pain syndromes. And so I started to think about this, and I realized that, it's the cause of them, aside from just being older and tighter tissue with less elasticity and collagen and hydration and a whole host of other things, is also the result of everyday repetitive activities. And so once I identified the everyday activities that were causing tightness and imbalance, then I could pick the stretches that I wanted to teach to my clients one-on-one, and now I'm going to teach to you, that would then help to, back out of these repetitive patterns. All right. So the first episode, we covered wrist, elbow pain, and even trigger fingers because of the results of tight forearm muscles, because we're in flexion all the time. In this one, I'm going to address the tightness that happens in our front chest muscles, that then causes shoulder issues, which you might feel in the front, you might feel them in the back, you might feel them when you go to raise your arm, like a little glitch or a catch, and are the result of tight pectoral muscles. All right. And what repetitive activities and motions in everyday life cause these muscles to get so tight is simply being an upright human being on the planet for 70 plus years. Because when we walk and we're standing upright with gravity pushing down on our heads every day for at least 12 hours a day, what happens is we start to get a compression and we start to come forward. In addition, when we're on our computers or watching TV or sitting inappropriately in a chair, but let's use our computer for an example. Like you're looking at the screen, you're on the keyboard, but your head is forward, your head weighs anywhere from 7 to 10 pounds, which now pitches this whole upper body forward. And so what happens over time is that these muscles in the front, because the shoulder bones are being pulled forward, they get shortened and tightened. And then when you do everyday activities, this whole joint is now misaligned, and you get, grating and grinding. You'll get tendinitises, bursitis, labral issues. You could even get tears. because of a misalignment. And then as you're, moving your arms and doing things in everyday life, all because you're forward pitched, and these muscles now have almost like, solidified in a tight position. All right. They're not solidified in a tight position, but because so much time has gone by, it's going to feel, in some cases, it almost feels like they're immovable. But the last thing you want to do is then try to aggressively stretch them back, because as I mentioned in the first episode, what I witnessed when I did try to do that with my 70 and older clients is that many times, because the muscles are so tight and the muscle fiber is older, and the DNA and the telomeres and the various cellular components are compromised, when you go to do that, the muscles just don't, the cells don't have that elasticity, and they kind of seize up and cause spasm. And sometimes it's hard to release that. So the stretches that I'm going to show you, the stretch I'm going to show you in all the series, 6 of them, but the one I'm going to show you right now is a rhythmic stretch. So what that means is that you're not going to take the muscles and pull them to their maximum length and then hold it for 30 or plus seconds, because that could cause a spasm. We are going to take the muscles through the range of motion that they have, but we're going to do it in a rhythmic manner, which means it's almost like a rocking chair. You go out, you pull it, you stretch it, then you let it release. You stretch it, then you let it release. It's not a bouncing stretch. It's like a rocking chair. Stretch, release, stretch, release. And in doing them this way, I call it like an internal massage. You're less apt to get the muscles to spasm. All right, which we don't want. All right, so how do we open up these front chest muscles in a way that a 70 plus male or female can do? All right, so our door or our wall, whatever you have access to, is going to be our prop. And you're going to stand so that your shoulder is against the door. And then you're going to take your top arm and you're going to bring it out in front of you. You're going to use your other hand to just push against the wall just for balance. All right. And then what you're going to do is you're going to open and close like a clam. You're going to take a breath in and you're going to open the arm as far back as you can. Now, some people will be able to go all the way to touch the wall behind you. Some people, that's going to be way too aggressive. So, and then you come right back and close the clam. So you open the clam and then you close the clam. That's one. Open the clam only to your range. So if you want to go about where you feel the stretch and the pull, but you're avoiding any sort of a strain or pain, right? So we're taking it, open the clam, and then we close the clam, and open the clam, and you're going to do 15 repetitions on each side, and you'll find that as you go through the repetitions, even in the first set, that you might get further on the 15th repetition than you did on the first one. And I say you might, you will get further, because we're kind of massaging these muscles from the inside, so they are less apt to get scared, basically, and tighten up, and you'll feel the release. So now what I'm suggesting is 15 repetitions on each side, but I would tell you that if you only have time and you can only do it once a day, that's fine. But ultimately, the more you can do, the better. And my protocol that I'm teaching in this series would be a set of 15 3 times a day, spaced out through the day, because all day long we're in this position. So if you can space this out and do these clams, maybe in the morning and then in the afternoon and then in the evening, you're spacing them out through the day, and you're just counterbalancing the position that we're in most of the other hours of the day. All right. So this is episode number 2 in my series of stretches for over 70 to help to reverse or better manage our everyday repetitive activities and the tightness and the joint pains that they can cause. And stay tuned for episode number 3, which is coming. There's a 6 in the series, so I hope that you watch all 6. And I hope you're like-minded like myself. And the reason why I'm doing these videos and the series is because I want to make my second 50 years even better than my first 50 years. And if you're watching this, I'm assuming that you have the same mindset. So thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next, and bye, everybody. Thanks for listening, everybody. And if you'd like to have access to some of my additional resources, I can be found at Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and on my website, www.judyterrell.com.